How y'all doing? And thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lights like what you're looking at here for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, speed boats, unicycles, everything in between. We got a brand new 2022 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Nice all in black here today. What you're looking at in the front there, first and foremost, is our TIR3. That's 2 green and 2 white, synchronized to fire together in the pattern you see there. That's a triple flash 75 FPM pattern, very common pattern. And we've synchronized them, as I said, to do both green and both white. Now above that, you can see the factory mirror spotlights. On the forward-facing portion of that tow mirror, that's flashed using our auto flasher module. Now you don't lose any factory function with those flashing lights on the mirrors. We don't make them any brighter, but you can use them as emergency lights and still retain factory function when you're not in emergency mode. Now at this time, that particular install does require cutting a wire at the body control module, but it's very simple, easy instructions to follow, and it's simply 1 wire to cut for each mirror. You're not going to interrupt any other circuits with any other plugs. Back up just a little bit and show you the front there. Now those TIR3s are hung right underneath the belt line that says Chevrolet in the middle of the grill. They're hung there with our 90-degree bracket. We had to spread that bracket open just a little bit to get the level right on it. It's probably spread open to about 100 degrees right now, but as you can see, the TIR3 fits very nicely there, and it's screwed from the bottom up. So if you changed your mind and decided to remove the lights, there's just 2 screw holes from the bottom up underneath the grill there that you can kind of clean up and really nobody would notice. Our LIN 6 and our LIN 8 also fit in that same location. And speaking on our LIN 6, there it is in those step pockets. We use that light quite often in the back where we want a dual color option and a single light, like what you see here. Now this is a green-white LIN 6, but we have all color varieties. So if you don't want green or white, go ahead and shop the site. You can see all the different options. Now those rear step lights are put in there all the way at the front, so it's very difficult to hit with your boot. I've had nobody ever really damage those in as many sets as I put in. Above it, you can see our HAW DUO. That's a hideaway light inside the reverse lens. It does require drilling a 1-inch hole in the side of that reverse lens, but it's not a very difficult procedure. I'm going to link you to a couple of how-to videos I did about drilling that hole. All in all, it's not a bad procedure and not a very difficult install. Above that, on the tailgate, you can see that factory tailgate keyhole light there that lights up the hitch. And you can also see above it the factory cargo light. Now, those are flashing using our auto flasher module. You are able to alternate if you'd like cargo tailgate. However, at this time, you're not able to alternate the cargo. That is a 1-piece, 1-wire cargo from the factory, so we don't have the ability to alternate it, but you can pick a variety of flash patterns if you'd like. This is also a wire cut install on the passenger side of the dashboard. Very easy instructions to follow, and just simply cutting 2 wires, one for the tailgate light, one for the factory cargo light, and installing our auto flasher right there on the passenger side of the dashboard. Now, backing up a little bit, you can see the synchronization of color in that lower bumper step. Looks quite nice. Above it, you can see that we set the HAW DUO on a very fast single flash alternating pattern. I just wanted to do that so it didn't conflict with the flash pattern that was already going on in the bumper below it. Now, being that the bumper was LIN 6, I could, if I wanted to, synchronize the HAW DUO with the LIN 6, but then it would have went reverse bumper, and I didn't think that was a very good look. This particular customer wanted a nice, bold, extremely noticeable display, and that's what we gave him. This is very hard to ignore. Here's a little off-axis shot for the rear. Alrighty, so that concludes this display portion of the video. I'm going to talk just a little bit about how we wired this in, so if you want some technical knowledge, stay tuned right now. As far as the LIN 6s down below, we used our 22.5 to extend those together, and we joined them with the power and ground for the HAW DUO module behind the driver's taillight. At that point, we ran a 2-conductor wire, 18-2, forward along the driver's frame, up through the driver's floor. There's a rubber grommet right near the emergency brake cable. We used our wire insertion tool to go through that rubber grommet with our 18-2, and we ran it right up to our switch, which is mounted on the dashboard where the factory location auxiliary switches are. Now we did the very same thing in the front here with our TIR3s. We ran an individual 22-5 to each TIR3, and we brought them all up, leaving a little bit of slack in case we needed to remove the grille or do any kind of wire repair. And we joined them together on the driver's fender underneath the hood. At that point, we reduced it down, joined all the powers and grounds, synchronized them together, disregarded the pattern and flood wires because we're not using those. And we dropped it down to an 18-2. Just like the rear. We ran that 18-2 through a 3/4 grommet where I'm going to show you where we drilled the firewall and inside to the switch. Now the two auto flasher modules that we used, the white mirror module as well as the cargo module, both come with everything that they need to get to the switch. So you'll just follow the auto flasher instructions and use the included auto flasher wiring. That'll bring the wiring up to the switch, and at that point you'll power it from your switch. The wiring we are going to provide for the rest of this build is going to be 50 feet of 18-2. That's going to be enough to get you from back to front, from the front inside, and even a little bit of extra to power your switch from the fuse panel on the left side if you want battery power like we're showing here. Or you could also power that switch from the fuse panel on the passenger side if you wanted a keyed ignition source where when the truck is off, the lights automatically go off. That'll be left up to you. You can decide at that point. But we're going to put in the 50 feet of the 18-2. We're also going to put in 50 feet of the 22-5. That's going to be enough to extend those 4 grille lights. And it's also going to allow you to extend the passenger rear LIN 6 over to the driver's rear LIN 6 and extend both of those lights up to meet that 18-2 in the rear along with the HAW Duo. All right, so bear with me. I'm holding the camera now just so I can show you some detail here. As far as the power, behind these side panels, this side you'll have very easy access to a lot of metal terminals that are battery fed. And on the other side of the dash, same panel, you have very easy access to a lot of terminals that are ignition fed. That's where you'll get your power. We're going to put in a fuse kit for you so you can run a fuse. Of course, this system right now is using a 5-amp fuse. We put our switch right here because if they ever did put in the factory auxiliary switch, I have a template that we cut out, and that switch would be removed and cut out and the factory would go there. So that's where I like to use that location for. It's up to you if you want to use the same. And I'll take you down here and show you where we went through the firewall. Disregard my old man grunt, sorry about that. Right there's our 3/4 grommet. We're going to include one of those as well. And we poke the firewall right there. If you cut away the heat and sound batten right there, you can drill a clean 3/4 hole through the firewall and put a grommet right there. And that's where we're running our wire through to the front for the grill. That's our 18-2. Now we did put our auto flasher modules. They're stashed up under here. And we wrap it up real nice with some Tessa tape. And of course, when you take this off, you can access behind here very easily. This actual fuse box pops right out of place. You can put your whole arm in the dashboard. So we have quite a bit of wiring connections back behind here, out of sight, out of mind, and just give you a nice, simple 3/4 green switch. Now it's up to you if you want to put a label on it or not. Personal choice, personal preference. So I think that's all the details I have for this particular build. I think you guys can handle it from here. We're going to put heat shrink and a variety of other good stuff in here to make your install easier. And if you like this package, go ahead and grab it. And if you want a different color, feel free to modify the color. Now your TIR3s in the front can be selected any color you like. So if you were feeling a red and blue, or maybe an amber and red, go ahead and make it happen. The LIN 6 in the back, same deal. Same thing with the HAW Duo. You can select your own color, but if you modify the package and change the color, you can't call me later and tell me that I sent you the wrong stuff. So modify with caution. The auto flasher modules, you can't change them because the lights are what they are on the truck. The switch, if you want a blue switch, no problem, change the color. So I'm giving you that freedom. If you want to add a little bit of more heat shrink, you can do that as well. So everything, I hope I've gone over all of it. Thank you for tuning in. You got any questions, drop an email in, reference this video, or better yet, just drop a comment right on this video, and that way I can see it in YouTube, and we'll try to get you some answers. Email does work better and quicker sometimes than the comments. So thanks again for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your #1 source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, SUVs, and 2022 Silverado 2500 HD. All black, lift kit, rims, all-terrain tires. It's a nice looking truck.